Hi, yes, and welcome. Welcome to Faithful Talks with Torr. I will be sharing a little bit about myself today. We'll be doing a Q&A, so you can get to know me as I get to know you.
Okay, first off, tell us about yourself.
Okay, so a little bit about me. As of recent, I've been doing a lot more travels. I just came back from Houston, Texas. We were able to visit NASA. It was really cool seeing a lot of the spaceships and just things like that, and some of the things that they do in outer space and the beneficial things that they do that help us here on Earth. So yeah, that's one of the things, as well as I did my undergrad in child and adolescent development, social and behavioral science. So I am definitely interested in anything related to mental health and wellness, and the importance of faith within that space as well. So yes.
Why did you start this podcast, and what do you hope listeners receive?
I started this podcast because I genuinely have a desire to see people heal. I genuinely have a desire to see people whole and to see people walking in their purpose, having a growth mindset, not allowing certain situations to hold them back, but using those as an opportunity to pivot towards the right direction. And so just letting them know that they can go through certain experiences and make it out to the other side. It definitely is possible. So yeah.
If someone right now feels broken, what would you tell them from your heart?
If someone right now feels broken, I would tell them that it's gonna get better. It may not look like it's gonna get better, but it is. Eventually it will. I don't necessarily believe that time heals everything, but I think intentionality does. So if someone is hurting and they are intentional about healing, they can heal. There are certain principles that they can apply to allow themselves to heal. And I think sometimes people don't know what principles to apply. So like for instance, let's say for example, somebody came out of a healthy relationship, right? Let's just say that's an example. And they moving forward now, they've decided that they no longer want to be a part of that. They're no longer going to be a willing participant to that. There's boundaries that they can set in place to protect their heart. You know, like the scripture says, guarding your heart, because the issues of life flows from your heart. So being mindful with your time that you're spending and how you're spending your time and who you're spending your time with. Being intentional about your healing means that you are safeguarding yourself. You're safeguarding yourself in a way that it takes practical steps, right? Because there's prayer, there's supernatural or spiritual things that can help you, and then there's practical steps that one must be willing to actually activate to receive healing. So I would tell them that things can get better, but they would need to be intentional about them being better, and that they would need to be intentional about seeing themselves in the way that's best. Because sometimes when things happen in our lives, we tend to see it from a place of pain. But you have to also be able to look past your pain. And it takes steps. Right? Initially, it won't be that easy. But then eventually it's like, okay, here's the pain, but there's a purpose behind it too. You know, what can I learn from it? You know, how can I put myself in the best position to where I don't have to experience it again, right? So just being intentional about yourself, knowing who you are, having the mindset to know that you deserve better, then better has to start coming into your life. And until better shows up, you choose to have those boundaries for yourself, knowing of what you deserve. So it's just things like that. But ultimately, I would say just trust in the process and being willing to get new information so that your situations can be able to change for the better. Most definitely.
Okay, last question. Any particular reason for the name of this podcast, or is there anything else you'd like to share?
Yes, Faithful. The reason why I decided to come up with Faithful Talks with Torr is because, first off, faith definitely is where I'm rooted in. And then full, I felt like full. So for the definition of full is not lacking anything, and it actually means complete. So I'm going, okay, well, full, Full, complete. I want to be complete. I want to feel full when I come from any conversation. And so that's the idea from coming from this conversation, is being able to walk away full and ready, right? Prepared with more knowledge, stronger, more encouraged. And then talks, because we'll be talking. I want to hear you guys' perspectives, send in questions, different informations. And then Torr, because that's my affectionate name. So yet again, thank you so much for tuning in to the first episode of Faithful Talks with Torr. See ya.